I'll tell you once it's ready. So, what's going on, guys? It's Dinozords back with another live discussion. This time we have some pretty cool topics, and we have the normal guests that we almost always have. We got. I'll just go ahead and let you guys introduce yourselves.
Right, so I'm Victor Von Tume.
And I'm Froggy.
So today, we have. You guys, should probably be able to see on the screen. We have some pretty cool topics. First, we're going to be talking about Bat Family in Injustice. Then we're going to be talking about our Batgirl and Supergirl worth putting in the game. And what we mean by that is like our like duplicate characters like worth putting in the game. Like not just Supergirl, but like would Superboy be worth putting in the game? Things like that. So Mortal Kombat or Injustice, which do we think will be better? And Nightwing versus Red Hood. So, and then we might have a segment called Mortal Kombat Time, which is basically where we get to play some Mortal Kombat. So, yeah, definitely will be pretty fun stream tonight. If you guys haven't done so already, definitely check out the link in the description. Basically, what's going on in there, it has a click to tweet, and if you guys don't have a Twitter already, make one, please. And it should bring you to a click to tweet where you basically tweet to Ed Boon and me saying, like, hey, live discussion, what's up? Ed Boon, come hang out. So if you guys want Ed Boon to come watch, definitely use that click to tweet. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know, there's no way to tell how many people are watching without using Google Hangouts, so I don't know. We'll give it a couple minutes before we start going into the full topics. I'm just going to write in chat if it's black. Refresh. I don't know. I'm not sure if that is a thing on this right now. Like if that works. Anyways, how's your guys' week been going?
Pretty good. I missed the episode of The Arrow on Wednesday, so yeah.
It was a pretty decent one with Huntress.
I heard it was pretty lovey-dovey. I have it on DVR, just haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, it was, but I mean that's what you kind of expect with CW. I mean, you have to sort of the show exists because they can do that stuff, but they can also give us like the awesome comic book stuff as well. Like
Yeah.
CW is all about those kind of shows.
What do you think of like the whole like Huntress being from that random guy? You know what I mean?
Hmm?
What do you
Like
think
being
like being not from being like of Bruce Wayne and
well, there's
Catwoman?
been multiple. I think that's her other origin, though. Like I know that there's the origin with her being like Catwoman and Batman's daughter. But I think that this other origin is like her traditional one. I don't know enough about Huntress to be honest, but I'm pretty sure that there is a version of her that's just born a Bertinelli, like she's just one of the family of the mobsters or whatever.
She's just some random.
Yeah, and I mean it makes more sense to use that version in this one because first off they don't have Bruce Wayne. I think the one that you're talking about is like cross-dimensional stuff,
Yeah,
like with Earth 2.
She's from Earth 2 and then bullshit
Yeah.
comes over to
So they don't on this show they're really they're not even close to doing that kind of stuff, like they don't even want superpowers. So cross-dimensional stuff like that's just not going to happen.
hmm
I don't know though. Like it's a good show though. I think that they're I think they're going just at the right pace. Like they're not going too slow, but they're still introducing like a character pretty much every week. My only problem is I wonder if the like it seemed like they killed Deadshot in that one episode, but I'm sure he'll be back. I mean, they would probably want to do like a Suicide Squad episode eventually or whatever. And I hope they don't burn through everyone in like the first season and then feel like in the second season they have no one else to show up, like no new like cameos and whatever. So I think it's a pretty decent show so far though. I mean, it's not the best thing on like you can't compare it to Walking Dead or Breaking Bad, but for a CW show, I think it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, like I definitely like enjoyed last week's episode with like introducing Huntress and everything. Well,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like I definitely want to get to the point where like it's not as big of a deal to his family that he's not telling them everything because it's getting a little bit annoying that they're like, maybe if you told us the truth or whatever.
Yeah, I do think that the family is a little bit weird because they have like this whole thing with like the mother. She's actually the one that set out for the hit on the ship or whatever, or like set up the like they said that in the first episode. It was like she was partly responsible for like the the ship that Oliver was on going down. But then they want me to feel bad for her because her son's ignoring her. But I'm like, didn't you try to kill him? Or at least he was in the like I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to feel bad for like the mom and the dad, and they kind of do that sometimes. And like I don't understand, like they're bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if it's because I have a pea brain or something, but like I understand why like his dad just killed himself.
I get why. I mean, he knew it was going to be like a tough time trying to live out on that raft on that island, and they didn't have enough supplies or food, so he decided to off himself so Oliver could survive with the supplies that were left. So that, but I still don't understand just why, like, he has that like the mother married the other new father, and I feel like they're are they bad or are they like they're always like going between like these guys being evil or good, which is kind of cool but also kind of confusing because I don't think that they've done a good job explaining exactly what like the mother is involved in. I guess they're getting into it right now. Like there's these secrets that they're exploring. Like there's this book with a symbol on it that they're trying to figure out what's inside or whatever. Blah blah blah. I don't know. It's a decent show. I mean, I think that it's cool that it's not like so young skewing with like teens like how Smallville was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool that it's like this Stephen Amell, the dude that's playing Green Arrow, is an adult. I mean, they're like they're near their 30s, like everyone on the show, and it's more going for like what you'd want Green Arrow to be than like what he was in Smallville, I think.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could be obviously because I have no other like Green Arrow to like go off of, and like I don't know what to expect or anything like that. But
Mm-hmm. There's a new run coming up in the comics with Jeff Lemire, who is writing Animal Man and Frankenstein or whatever, and those were getting like decent reviews. Actually, like people have been loving Animal Man, and he's going to be writing for Green Arrow soon. So I would say if you're gonna like get into Green Arrow comics, I would get on right there. I think it's like issue 16, 17 when he picks up. And there's new art also, which is excellent because I think Green Arrow's looked really crappy in the comics since the New 52, and this new art is like I think looks awesome. It looks really dark with like a lot of shadows and stuff. So I definitely would say get on board with Jeff Lemire's Green Arrow when that comes out, issue 17, I think.
And with that, I think we will move into the first topic, which is the Bat family in Injustice. I think we might have like talked about this a little bit before. But I think it's worth like bringing back up for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, do just consensus right here and with the chat. What do you guys think? Do you think the whole Bat family? Well, at least like let's say if there was 4 Bat family members in Injustice, do you guys think that's going to happen? You guys in the chat, and then let's go down the line. Froggy, and then Doom, and then I'll go.
4 Bat family members?
Yeah, minimum 4. Like, do you think that is a possibility?
Are you saying there's going to be 4 in the game, period, or are you saying
no,
4 more?
I'm saying, do you think there will be, like, 4 Bat family members?
In like, for the whole game?
For the whole game. So, like, including Batman and
so you're saying... So, yeah.
Like, I'm not including his rogues, but, like, Batgirl, Robin, whomever.
I think... God, that's a tough one. Because I don't think that they wanted... I think Nightwing is, like, the one that were like, okay, this will be the Bat family member that's, like, not Batman that we want to include. But I don't know. Like, I don't think you'll see Robin. I think Nightwing... I think the fact that Nightwing's a skirmish sticks combined to a staff is enough to know that Robin won't be in. Batgirl is a possibility for the female. Everyone wants that female count to go up a little bit, especially with like the Mortal Kombat's female count is pretty decent percentage. So I think you might see Batgirl, but I don't think I would think 3 tops for Bat family. That's what I would say.
What do you think?
How many slots are there left
think like around 12 to 10, something like that.
Yeah, I think there might be 4, and I think that might be stretching it a little bit. Like, yeah, like maybe Batgirl. And what Froggy said, I'm not sure if they would put Robin in just because Nightwing has his, staff.
Well, what
Like,
about Red Robin? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that'd be cool if he could use his like
because that's one thing
swords.
Froggy always
I mean,
talks about. Like, he doesn't see, you know, he doesn't see kids being in the game. So, what about
Yeah,
Red Robin?
because like I've said,
he's
like I've
an
said
adult.
before, like they're gonna have blood in this game, and I just don't imagine them having kids involved with blood in a teen-rated game. And that's just me from a realist perspective, not me saying like, oh, they shouldn't. It's just that's how I see it happening, and I don't
Yeah,
even mind because,
understand.
huh?
I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But like that's like what are we gonna do when we see like Billy Batson? You know what I mean? Like, because I think almost
I-
everyone can see like Shazam's most likely gonna be in the game. Like, what are
Uh-huh.
we gonna like? Is Billy Batson just gonna be non-existent? Just gonna be Shazam? Like,
Well, if you look at Mortal Kombat vs. DC, they left him as
yeah, I
you
know,
know,
but like,
in adult form the whole time. I do agree that would be cool. Like some people have said, like, what if he shows up and like when he starts a match, he transforms. Um, a little kid just walks up and says Shazam, and then like he changes. That would be awesome. But two things there. I mean, first off, I wouldn't mind if they didn't have it, and secondly, they could do that still because he wouldn't be in the fight until he's an adult. He'd be a kid for those 2 seconds, but he wouldn't be actually in the fights when he's a kid. So that would make all the difference.
yeah,
I always thought it was kind of weird, like in MK versus DC, that like someone would do a fatality on the Shazam, and like I just always thought, oh,
He's
yeah,
a little kid.
yeah,
I remember people talking about like if Thor fought Shazam, like how the fight would go, and somebody said like, if Thor found out he's a kid, he'd just be like, well, I'm not going to beat up a little kid. It's not cool, you know. Same thing with like a lot of like people. Like if they found out he was actually a little kid, like they'd probably be a lot more like. I remember like there was that whole in Justice League, like since a lot of people seem to watch the cartoons, like they're fighting, and like at any point if Captain Marvel is like, hey, I'm a little kid, Superman might have lightened up on him, you know.
hmm yeah. I mean, so what do you think, Jurgen? Like, or Doctor Doom, whatever. Do you think 4 or less, maybe more? What do you think?
oh yeah, yeah. I don't think they'll put Red Robin in. I think Batgirl might be like the last one, maybe.
I definitely hope,
Unless,
like I definitely hope she's in the game because like yeah, like if we look at Batman's like his fighting style right now, like it looks nothing like how I would expect, just like a hand-to-hand fighting Batgirl, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Which I think they could easily do and like still make her like worth putting in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she might be able to do like kicks like Sonya from MK9.
Yeah, and I would love to see NetherRealm like make a costume that looks like her new 52 costume because it's just amazing. Like especially with whoever's doing the art, art on Batgirl right now, it's beautiful.
I agree. Like the gold, I love the gold and like dark combo. I think it looks really cool. Yeah, I could definitely. She's more nimble, I would say. Like if they were to put her in the game, she'd be more like nimble, quick than Batman would be. Like she'd be more like a powerhouse. So it's not quite a powerhouse, but like somewhere between Superman and Batgirl, you know.
Superman and Batgirl.
No, I'm saying Batman. I said he'd be a powerhouse, but I don't mean in the sense like he'd be like Superman powerhouse. I just mean he'd be more powerful than Batgirl. That's all.
Okay. So I honestly, I don't really see Red Robin being in the game. I think, like, the only reason I'd want him to be in the game just to kind of see what he looks like, like the way they take him. But I'd like to see other characters, so I'd rather not see him. The last Batman, like, family member I'd like to see is definitely Batgirl, because I'm, like, her biggest fanboy ever. So I'm hoping there's, like, 3, like, the Nightwing, Batgirl, and Batman, because that would be really cool, you know what I mean? Like, go back to, the original days where it was, like, Batgirl and, Nightwing or, Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm
Like,
getting
that
bad.
would-
Now I'm getting bad flashbacks to the Batman and Robin movie when they're all running together.
Oh no.
No, I wouldn't be like that. That's the thing, in those Batman and Robin movies, they might as well just made Robin Nightwing. He's like 20-something years
Yeah, and
old.
he was wearing the Nightwing
Yeah.
costume pretty much.
Yeah, it was just red, which is now what it is in the comics.
Yeah.
I want it to go back to blue. People in the comments, you want to see Nightwing go back to blue? I certainly do. That's why I'm glad he is in Injustice.
Yeah, I don't really care either way, to be honest, but I think the blue is just better because it's just classic.
I think it represents his personality a little bit better. Like, he's not like Damian wearing a bunch of red makes sense to me. He's like a lot of rage there, but like blue, I feel like Nightwing makes sense.
Yeah, red just makes bullshit. Red just like makes him like his eyes, especially make him look like he's like some sort of killer.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. So we can all agree we'd like to see 3 and have Batgirl be the final Bat Family member? Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Which leads us into our next topic. I'm really good at segueing, aren't I? So are characters like Batgirl and Supergirl worth putting in the game? And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you guys weren't there, when I say characters like Batgirl and Supergirl, I mean like clone characters. And I think there's even a chance we can go into this even further. Like, is it worth putting a character like Batgirl or Supergirl in the game, even though they're clone characters, just because they're females? You know what I mean?
I don't think it should be just I think you need to think about what they can do differently, and I think that with any like gadget character, just like how I feel about lanterns, it's like you can kind of just come up with different gadgets and be like, okay, Batgirl will have completely different gadgets than Batman does. But with like Supergirl, she does have heat vision and super strength and ice breath the same way that Superman does. And while they could program her different, make her fight differently, just like how I said Batgirl could be like faster than Batman or whatever. I don't know if that's a good like use of a roster slot. Put Supergirl in.
Yeah, I mean, like that idea, like of putting a character in, was like from J-Roar. You know what I mean? Like he made a video recently about like a request for Injustice, and it was about putting Power Girl in the game, and I was like, I think I don't remember it exactly, but I think like the argument went down to basically like it's like a female Superman. Like, who doesn't want to play as a female Superman? And I was like, is it really worth putting a character in just because, you know what I mean, like that? Is it worth putting a clone character in just because they're a female?
I mean, it's not
right now. Like we have like what, two or three girls in the game.
See, I think that when you're talking about anything involving like diversity, it's a weird discussion because you don't want to sound like you're giving someone a slot just because they're a color or a gender, but at the same time, it is good to get that mix because the people you're selling the game to are from all different walks of life. You don't want to you don't want to have the game full of just a bunch of grown-ass white dudes. Like, you could have a little bit of like I said, a mix in there. You don't have to have everyone be like the same dude. Yeah, I think that female characters can be endearing because of the fact that it's like it's a male-dominated fighting thing, but it's like they're stepping up to the plate anyways,
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Like, personally for me, it's like a battle between like me wishing, because obviously, like we said, you can make you can make Supergirl and Batgirl different from Superman and Batman easily. You know what I mean? But it's still like they're going to be so similar, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain, but they're still going to be similar whether you change their fighting style or they're still going to be using, heat rays or whatever, and still going to be using back grapples and whatnot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't even, I'm still, even though I said I wouldn't mind Batgirl, I'm still, wishy-washy even on her. I'm not sure if I, really want her in as much as it's just, I wouldn't mind her in. Supergirl, again, I don't think I'd mind her, but I also really don't think that they can do much with her that would be that interesting. Especially because I think that the iconography of, she has the Superman crest, we already have a guy with a Superman crest. I don't know if I need another one, with wearing blue and red. And I think there is something there. Like you like having each character have like a different color scheme to themselves, a different, look,
Yeah.
And
Like,
Batgirl,
I definitely
sorry.
like Supergirl's costume in the New 52. It's really good to me.
Oh, I like it a lot. I'm just saying that, like, at least Batgirl, if she was in, her costume would look fairly different from Batman's. She has a different color scheme to herself.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
But what do you think about it, Doom? Doom?
That's kind of tough because yeah, it's like what you guys have said so far that like it's really up to NetherRealm whether or not they can make the character different. Like, yeah, like because they'll use the same thing. When I say both, I'm just talking about Supergirl and Superman because I feel like Batman and Batgirl could do different things.
Yeah.
Pop Tropical Bonanza said, but is it really worth it when there's characters like Zatanna, Black Canary, Raven, Starfire, Hawkgirl, Vixen?
Yeah, that was my
could be
point. You know what I mean? Like, if
I'd much rather see them.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to see those characters, but that's why sometimes I feel like I'm about to sneeze in a second, I think, but that's why I feel like sometimes we didn't have a story for this game. You know what I mean? So we could have all the characters. You know what I mean? We'd have all those great characters.
Zatanna deserves it much more than Supergirl, to be honest. I mean, just think about, like, in Mortal Kombat how you have, like, like, get over here and all that stuff. Like, somebody says something when they're doing a move, like Zatanna, every move that she does, she could do, like, the little spell where she says her thing backwards. Mm-hmm. Like, that could be a neat little, fun thing with that character that you want to get with Supergirl. With Supergirl, you just get another, laser beam, super powerful, which, it's great for one character, but I don't know if you want to have two characters like that.
Yeah. I think if there's going to be any clone characters, it would be Batgirl, just to have that extra Bat family member. Like, we might even still see, like, somebody backing up Superman from, like, his, super family or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we might get at least one from both sides. Like, at least one more.
I do think so. I mean, I think with Superman, you're going to see, I don't know. Do you guys think we'll have more than one? Do you think we'll have more than one villain for Superman? Because most people seem to think that Lex Luthor will be in, and I certainly do. But you guys think we'll see any other Superman villains? Because I do think... Sorry.
There's a few I'd like to see, but, like, I don't think we will. You know what I mean?
It's like he kind of deserves, like, some more recognition. I do think Zod... It's weird because, Victor, we can hear whatever you're crumpling.
Oh.
Anyways. So... I don't know. What do you guys think it would be cool? I mean, you guys have to think about the story at the same time, but like, do you think we'll see two random, original characters, or do you think we may see just, Batgirl and Supergirl, or Batgirl and, or maybe Robin and Power Girl, or whoever? Like, what would you like to see, and which one do you think is gonna happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
There's a difference between what we'd all like to see and what we probably will get.
Yeah, like, I know what I just said with Supergirl, that it didn't quite want another character that shoots, heat vision and super strength, but I do think Zod would be cool, especially with the movie, Man of Steel coming out. It's just, I don't know, I guess because his look is so different, like I was talking about before, I would be okay with it, but I don't know. It's like Zod's one of his best villains, but he does have the exact same moves. It's kind of like with Shazam and Black Adam. It's like, do you want to have both, or do you just want to have one as a costume?
Yeah. Dark Surge says, I think Darkseid will be in the game just for the fact he might be the villain in the Justice League movie, but I'm like 192% positive, like, they're not even allowed to use characters that are like supposed to be like used in the movies right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I hope Darkseid isn't in the game. Like, I just feel like from the experience I've had with him, he's just like, at least within MK versus DC, is just like an even more overpowered Superman. You know?
Oh, I'm reading Pop Tropical's like thing, and he just put Zatanna in Injustice backwards.
Oh,
Clever.
wow.
Yeah, because that's how you get her in. You have to say it backwards. Yeah, though. I mean, Superman. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, people talk about like Livewire, but I don't think Livewire is like any. It's not like worth of note. Like, you know, it's not a character that anyone's like, oh, like Livewire should be in the next Superman movie. Like, no one's really talking about that. Like, Brainiac and Darkseid.
Yeah, but no one was talking about Static Shock guy or whatever in the next
Well, that's
Spider-Man
true.
movie.
I do Spider-Man. Wait, what?
Yeah,
Static Shock guy? What are you talking
I
about?
don't remember his name, but Static Shock guy. What's his name?
Well, I mean, I think with Static Shock, the reason he'd get in is just simply because of that show and because people remember him. I don't think he will be in, but I think if he was in, that'd be the only reason.
Definitely, because his comic is garbage.
Well, it
Canceled.
got canceled. I don't even know if it was as bad to get canceled as much as it was just like it sold so poorly, you know.
I heard
Like,
it's horrid.
I don't know. I've only heard it was like mediocre, which, you know, mediocre with bad sales might as well be horrible. And I don't know. It's like he's a good character. It's just DC. I don't think they know how to handle him, and I would love to see him in here. But at the same time, if Shazam and Black Adam are in, what's like lightning worth when you have like the gods of lightning, basically? You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, definitely. What?
Nothing.
What?
you all right?
You having troubles there? Anyways, I think we've all played Mortal Kombat. Obviously, none of us have played Injustice yet. But, you know, just to get into the topic of Mortal Kombat or Injustice, which will be better? Like, amongst, I think, the fighting game community, like the hardcore, you know, tournament players, you know, I think they're going to stay with Mortal Kombat, to be honest. Just from what I've seen on, like, Test Your Might forums and things like that. You know
I mean, I don't even know if it's fair to say until like people actually play it, though. I mean, I understand. I do think that there's a stigma against the game because it's
DC characters.
it's a licensed game. Like, typically people are just like, no, it's a licensed game, so I don't even want to like give it a shot. You know?
Yeah, well, technically it's not licensed, really, because from...
Well, it is. I mean, they got a license. Well, yeah, they're owned by Warner Brothers also, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's semantics, though. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like people that if it started as a game, they'll take it more seriously as a game, you know. But if it started somewhere else, it's like, oh, it's an adaptation or an adaptation, I should say, of something else. So it's like automatic. I don't know if that's fair though, especially with like Batman, Arkham City, and stuff. It's like that game's, you know, those things started as comics and became games, and they won Game of the Year awards. So maybe people will take it more seriously now.
Yeah. Like, it depends to me, like, which kind of, like, part of the game you're talking about, you know what I mean? If we're talking about, like, competitiveness, like, I've said this before and gotten, like, uber flamed for it. But, like, in terms of competitive, like, fighting and tournament play and things like that, I definitely think Mortal Kombat's going to stay the game that goes to EVO. You know what I mean?
I mean, I understand what you're saying totally.
But, like, in terms of, like, I think at least for us, like, DC comic book fans, Injustice is going to have, like, the better story, and, like, it might be a little bit easier for us to have fun playing because it's, you know, it's Batman, Superman, characters we all know and love. I mean, I think people, like, when I first got MK versus DC after not playing it for, like, years, I didn't play as Mortal Kombat characters at all. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm the same way.
It's just, like, so fun to be able to play as the characters we've read and, like, see them come to life in front of us. in a good way. You know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
a remotely decent way in terms of MK versus DC. But you know what I mean? Like it's really cool to see that happen and like in front of you. Like obviously like DC doesn't get the best movies out, you know, yet. Hopefully we'll be starting to see some great movies coming out. Um, but I definitely think like at least for us, the guys who are really into DC Comics and things like that, we're gonna like be in love with the part of the game that's like the story elements and you know, Easter eggs and things like that. I think it's gonna be awesome. But in terms of like competitive fighting and you know Evo 2013 and all that junk, say, I personally I think like MK is gonna stay there.
I
Based
mean,
on
I'm honestly more excited for the gameplay than the story. Like, to be honest,
no,
because
like I
I
am
mean,
too, but I just don't like I don't see it competitive. You know, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like I might
I
be
get what you're
completely
saying.
wrong, and I'll end up eating my words in April. But
I think that the story mode is going to be. I think it automatically will be better than the Mortal Kombat story because of the fact that like Mortal Kombat is straight up just like, all right, this is a tournament where we fight. Like you don't even really like need that deep of a story for that. It's just like that's what the story for Mortal Kombat has always been. But for like Injustice, it's like it's gonna probably be more in the vein of like a fully fleshed comic story. It might not be that deep, but it'll be somewhat deeper.
yeah, like and again, like especially for us, you know what I mean? Like people who like follow these game or comic books and everything like that. I think it'll definitely be like it's hard to explain, but I just think it'll be more fun for us just because it's like comic books that we've known and loved and seeing them come to life, even if it's like in a video game. But I think sometimes that can be more fun than just a movie because you get to like control the characters. You know what I mean? Which is
Well,
like always
you
been.
also get several hours worth
Yeah,
of
yeah, definitely.
But I'm more excited for movies to be honest. But I mean, there is advantages to games, you know.
Yeah,
Like, I think that the fact that you can actually take control of the characters, it lets you sort of like feel like a connection to the characters in a weird way. Like, I know it sounds like bizarre, but like it's true. Like, if you play as a fighting game character and you get really good with them, I've said this before. Like, you get more interested in the character and you'll want to go like read about them or whatever.
yeah. Um, which game do you think is going to be better in terms of like story and you know competitive fighting? Doom.
Well, story wise, I mean, I'm gonna say Injustice,
Hmm.
but fighting wise, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because I haven't played Injustice, but I think it'll be more fun personally because I mean, gore and guts and blood is cool, but I don't know. I think that the over-the-top action of the Injustice will be more fun for me.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be tons of fun, and I think we're going to be playing it for months, and then maybe one day we'll become like the MK Knights or whatever. Because like, if you guys see those guys, they're like fucking Justice, it's fucking knock off of this game, things like that. And then there's the other guys who are like, Injustice, that's pretty cool. I like DC and you know stuff like that, which is cool to see. Like,
Well, it's like, do they really want to see like NetherRealm develop a Mortal Kombat game like each and every time? They would get burnt out. Like, it's much better to let them take their time with the games. Like, this is a good rotation if they keep doing like DC game, Mortal Kombat game, DC game. Like, that would be a good, you know, way to go. I would think they get a break each time from each thing. You know.
yeah, but then again, like you're thinking like, how long are you going without a new version of your game because of like Injustice being in the middle? You know what I mean? Does that make
Well,
sense?
think about how like
Like
little they think.
like
Yeah, I understand
like
what you're
MK
saying,
came
but
out
like
in
think.
like what 2011, like April or
Mhm.
May of 2011, something like that. And then
Yeah.
this game is coming out, so they have to wait like 3 or 4 years before they get another one. So it's kind of like
Well, think
a
about
little bit
how long
understandable.
between Street Fighters. That like Street Fighter 4 was the last one, and people love the way that they take a long time to make Street Fighter games. And
Yeah,
also,
but
it's
you have to think like they're making like Extreme Turbo Edition and
well, I think a lot of
adding
people.
more characters like every couple of, you know, every year or so.
If you look back to like the like Mortal Kombat history. Like, I think people started not liking it when they started churning them out, you know, when they started just trying to throw everything at the wall. And like, if you look at like Madden and stuff that comes out like every single year, it's like, you know, do people actually like things that are just incremental updates? I think people would rather see like take your time on something, like make it like a worthwhile project, you know?
Hmm. Like especially, but I think when we're thinking about like fighting games or even sports games, things like that, like you can't. It's not the same as like. It's hard to explain, but like you don't. It's not like you're sitting there like for like 12 hours straight, 7 days a week, playing the game. You know what I mean? Like it eventually gets a little bit boring
I'm
unless
just
you're
saying,
like
like,
trying to become
yeah,
professional.
I'm just saying, like, during all this time that they're making Injustice, they could come up with some great Mortal Kombat idea that they might not have come up with if they immediately started working on another Mortal Kombat game, you know? Sometimes you need to wait, sort of gauge the audience, see what they want, think, like, take your time to marinate on things, like have it just, I don't know if jumping from one thing like Mortal Kombat, then we're going to make the next Mortal Kombat. I don't know if that's the best idea. I think you should maybe take your time, let people starve for Mortal Kombat. Honestly, if you give them too much, they'll stop wanting it. If you take your time with it, by the time they come out with the next one, they'll be ready for another one.
Yeah, and then they get time to like try other things in between and not just experience Mortal Kombat.
And I think it's awesome. Like, I can't wait. Like, as much as I love like, I'm excited for Injustice. It hasn't even come out yet. I'm just thinking about the prospect of a sequel. Like, that could be really cool, especially because we'd probably get the same roster except with more people.
Yeah. Hopefully, like if they're gonna make a roster, some people die and it's like impossible for them to be in.
Well, I wonder if they would even. I wonder if they would even do the same story in the next one. If they would do something completely
Oh
different,
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I wonder if they would just reboot it.
that might be the thing to do.
Especially if they have movies out by then. Like, imagine if they have a Justice League movie out by then, they might want to go for a more traditional story. Because this one, honestly, with the way that they're selling like this Red Sun DLC, it seems like they're going for an alternate, like a really bizarre, twisted history version of DC. Whereas maybe by the next time they make a game, they're going to want to go more traditional. Like I said, they want to go for like you have Justice versus Darkseid and his guys or whatever.
Yeah. But then it ended up being kind of like one of those like Dragon Ball Z games where like you're versing like parademons, you know what I mean? Like, well, like you're waiting
I
to
don't know
go up
about
against
that.
Cell. You're waiting to go up against Cell or Darkseid in this case. And then he sends
Yeah.
out like his 62 parademons and you have to like, but then again, that'd be pretty cool. Like, what if you're playing as Superman and you're like flying? It's kind of like one of those cinematic type deals. You know what I mean? And then you're just
I
like,
don't know if I want that though.
oh, that'd be funny.
I've heard that NetherRealm actually might want to try something that's not a fighting game, which, okay. I kind of want honestly, I'd be totally okay with them doing Mortal Kombat DC for the next 10 years or whatever. I'd be okay with that. But if they want to make another thing, I mean, whatever, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool to see. Like, let's see what they can do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've seen them do fighting games for like 20 years now, something like that. I don't know how long
yeah,
exactly
imagine
Mortal
if they
Kombat's
made-
been out, but
Yeah. Imagine if like they decided. I mean, I doubt they would want to do this, and I don't even know if I want this or not. But they could do something like make like a Flash game or whatever. Some. I mean, they are owned by Warner Brothers, so Warner Brothers can tell them sort of what to do a little bit. If Warner Brothers is like, we want DC games, they can make one of their developers do that. Not that that's the best idea, but you could do that. I actually wonder where this idea started. Sorry, but I wonder where this idea started for Injustice. Like, at what part of the company was like, let's do this? Was it NetherRealm proposing it, or was it Warner Brothers like, hey, we need this?
yeah. Like,
It's an interesting
here's a
thought.
cool idea. Like, what how the Avengers builds up, right? Like, it goes from you go Iron Man 2, Hulk, all that stuff, and then we get the Avengers, but they're supposedly going with just doing Justice League movie and then doing films after. What if they decide to make like a Justice League video game, but build up to it with different games? Like, how cool would that be?
I've always thought that'd be interesting, especially with like, well, they are doing an Arkham City or an Arkham prequel that's going to be about the Justice League.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. Because there was so much stuff they could have done with like another sequel and not have done a prequel. So I pray to all that is Warner Brothers that they don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Um,
like
well, it's
they hinted to so much stuff. If you like go through all of those Easter eggs in that game, that
yeah. It's supposed to be like the first meeting of the Joker or something between Batman and Joker, and it's they just have cameos from Justice League. Like that's what I've heard. We haven't heard much since though.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that like months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, no, why do you do this to me?
I think it'd be cool though. I don't know.
mean, unless they're gonna like bring those, unless they're gonna like bring those like things they hinted at to the prequel, then fine. I'm cool with it completely. But I don't see how you're gonna like bring back Hush. You know what I mean? Oh, Hush decided to like teleport back in time, and now back.
I think Jason Todd might be pretty cool. Like,
I would love to see that. I think me and Paco would just jizz over it.
I think the better comparison than like I get that whole comparison to Avengers, but I think a better comparison might be like the DC animated universe, like where you have Static Shock crossing over with like Green Lantern, John Stewart, and all that stuff. Like all that stuff being together. I think that'd be cool if they did that in video games, like with the same like voice actors and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would require them to. Yeah, that would require them to actually put work into all the characters, though. They wouldn't be able to just sit back and let Batman bring in all the money. They would have to actually make investments in new characters.
Which would be like cool to see,
So, yeah.
Like if they're gonna make like another.
No, I agree. It's just Go ahead.
If they're gonna make like a new franchise, like the Arkham games, what character would you want it to be?
I think Green Arrow. I think a Green Arrow. I've said this before, but I think if they took like Uncharted's ideas and put that with Green Arrow, that would be excellent. Like
have
just
like a 2-hour prequel in like the island.
I don't know if it should be like exactly like Arkham, but like I said, like if you had for instance, like let's look at a PlayStation controller. You press like circle to roll or whatever, get cover.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be more like action adventure where you're like running and you're shooting arrows and you're just like trying to save whoever. It's not quite like Batman where it's more detective-y, It'd be something a little bit different than that. I think a Green Arrow game, especially with the way the Arrow has been going, we could see that happening. I think that there's some steam building with Arrow, so hopefully we'll eventually see that, but I don't know if it's for a long while, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually really like that idea. I'm actually like really excited to see the whole. This is completely off topic, but I'm excited to see the new, what's it called, Tomb Raider game. It looks so like innovative compared to like the other games. Like
well, yeah, like it seems to be going very much for like Uncharted sort of vibe, definitely. And I think that, like I said, yeah, Green Arrow fits that mold perfectly. And then beyond that, though, it's hard because when you have characters with such power like the Flash or Superman, you have to limit that power, or at least you have to be able to let the player harness that power in a way that isn't like for instance, if the Flash is so fast that a human can't keep track of him, how can a player of a video game, control him? It's just ridiculous speed. How do you do that? It's a difficult thing to program for. And I don't know, like maybe they could do it like where you run faster and everything else slows down as well.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a way to go, but it takes a lot of like, especially if you want to do a whole city. Like think about how few games have great open world cities. There aren't many, and it's a huge investment. So with a Flash game, that's a huge risk to like develop an entire city and make it fun. Like Spider-Man games, people got really sick of them after a while. And then there's some people that still love them, but I personally got sick of them.
It's easy to get bored of those games, at least for me, because I just love like web swinging in the game. I don't give a rat's butthole about the story. Like, I just like web swinging. It's so weird because that's the only reason I got the Amazing Spider-Man game, because the web swinging was amazing.
web slinging's fun. That's the only thing that I ever like about Spider-Man games because I
Yeah.
feel like this. I
But
feel like the
this-
city's always dead whenever.
Yeah, like some of the missions in that game were pretty fun.
I'm not gonna
like-
put it
like,
down. I mean,
what-
Spider-Man games are typically like the they're not always, they're pretty mediocre. They're not like bad always though. I don't know.
Like, what was the? Did you ever get to the mission where you're like in the city, you're going down the street like really fast, and like there's these like, I don't know. Have you ever played Gears of War? Probably not, because you only have PS3, right?
Yeah, I only have a PS3, but
Well,
I played.
like the
before.
Reavers, right? Like the flying tentacle thingies. Like those
Yeah.
things are
Yeah.
chasing you, and you're like you have to take them out like while you're web swinging. It's so awesome and fun to see.
Somebody said, Dark Surge said, "Don't you mean Uncharted is following what Tomb Raider did?" Yes, I understand what you're getting at because Tomb Raider did like the exploring ancient ruins thing before Uncharted did, but I feel like Tomb Raider is copying. Well, I don't want to say copying, but it's influenced now by Uncharted's approach to storytelling and their approach to like the controls and whatnot. Like I think that you're seeing like, yeah, one was the original, and then it's almost kind of like, to be honest, it's kind of like how Justice League was created before Avengers, but then the Avengers movie comes out before Justice League, and now people think Justice League movie might try to borrow stuff from Avengers, you know?
Yeah,
It's
that's
one of
like
those
a really
kind
good
of,
comparison.
yeah.
But let's go into the final topic for tonight. Nightwing versus Red Hood. Now, like, the idea of this came from, like, I think one of the discussions where we were all talking about, like, wouldn't it be cool to have something like the, Sub-Zero versus Scorpion thing
Mhm.
in Mortal Kombat? Like, wouldn't that be cool for Injustice? Like, do you guys think... Obviously, Red Hood's chances are, like, almost zilch. Because
I don't want to say
Deathstroke.
zilch. I don't want to say zilch. I mean, I think because of the fact that he's a villain, like and you're about to get at the point. I know what you're about to say. You're about to say Nightwing and Red Hood could be like the Scorpion Sub-Zero of this game. I think that's the thing that would let him in the game, is that he would be like the guy opposite of Nightwing on the character select screen or whatever. That would be really cool. But I don't know. I think he has fair chance because, yeah, like what we just said. So I don't know. I don't really care either way, to be honest. I think he's cool, but I don't know if he's necessary.
Yeah, I think
don't
it'd
know.
just be cool to
What do you
see,
think?
from a person who, like, loves Red Hood and everything like that. I think it'd be cool just to see, if Red Hood's still the Red Hood that I know, where he would just, like, do something just to get at Batman and, like, go on the, Justice League side or whatever. Just to, be like, wow, you're going to do that to me? Really? I need your help.
I
and you're
can
just
see
gonna-
that. Mm.
I think that would be cool. But and then that would give a reason, like, Nightwing's like, hey, why are you being a douchebag to Batman? You know? And, like, it's definitely, like, a kind of minuscule reason to, like, have, like, a fight. But then again, like, if you think about, like, what Scorpion's and Sub-Zero's
hmm
fight is.
Well, the more obvious one for Sub-Zero and Scorpion would also be like, Green Lantern and Sinestro, sort of. I mean, that's obvious. Like, I know that's like straight up, like, obviously they're villains, hero and villain pair, but I mean that would
But
be
I
like
think,
similar powers, but in different ways or whatever.
I think, like, the reason, like, Nightwing versus Red Hood would be better is just because, like, they came from, like, the same, past, you know what I mean? Like, they were both
Oh, I
Robins,
understand.
and now they're, like, opposite of each other.
Yeah, I agree.
Which
I'm
I
just
guess
saying
is kind of similar with the Green Lanterns, right?
I'm just saying that they're, well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there's several examples that you can use that are sort of like that. I do think that the Nightwing and Red Hood one's a good one, though, because, yeah, they're definitely, like, raised the same way. They just went in different directions. That's kind of an interesting story. And it'd be
because
cool.
of, like, such drastic
Yeah.
things, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
in terms of Red Hood, like, getting killed by the Joker, and then we know Joker's obviously the main villain in this game.
Yeah, and then also it's like just the fact that in the story mode, like them meeting, I've referenced that history, in the story,
Definitely.
and that would be something that you would get and I would get, but maybe not everyone. But that's what makes it cool, is that it would make people go like, wait, what are they talking about? I need to go look this up.
Yeah, it'd be so funny to, like, be sitting there playing this with your friends, and then like, they have a reference to, whatever, and then
Yeah.
like I'm like, oh, I get that, and then like the guy next to me is like, huh?
Well, yeah, sometimes it's like I think with video games you can really do that because people are sitting at home, being with Google at hand, able to look up things like Sinestro can reference Sinestro Core War or whatever. Like, there's all sorts of cool stuff like that. That like you can see references straight from the comics. Like, I love that they can do that, and I'm sure that they will. Like, it's kind of like this is a really okay, this is a weak example, but in Mortal Kombat versus DC, they did mention like Martian Manhunter. So like they didn't show him, they didn't do anything with him, but like that is something that they should reference, and like people have to look it up for themselves to figure out who they're talking about.
Yeah, I think it'd definitely be cool. I think it'd be definitely a way to, get people into the comics. Like,
Speaking of Martian Manhunter, what do you think about him and his chances for this game? Because I think for sure, I mean, he's getting pushed majorly. Like they just announced that in the Justice League of America comic, they're going to do a backup story that's just about him.
oh, I hate backup stories.
Comic. You don't like him?
No.
I
I feel
like
like you could have given me like an extra 5 pages of my book.
I understand. Well, he is a part of the book, so that
No,
it
I
kinda
understand
makes
that,
sense.
but like it's just
Yeah.
like like when
I
the
like
Night of
what-
the Owls thing was going down in Batman, and like they had that like 3 or 4 issue backup story with like the original Pennyworth guy or something. I was just like, I don't care, and I didn't even read it.
I only like them when I like them. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but I only like them when it's like the Shazam one, which I thought was excellent. Like, I think it's still going, and I really like it. But there's certain ones where I'm like, no, like I don't want to read about this guy. Like, I got this book because I want to read about Joe. Like, okay, All Star Western is really notorious for this because it's like you buy it for Jonah Hex, but then they'll have backup stories that are like, here's this, Native American dude talking about whatever, and I don't know. I bought it for Jonah Hex. I don't really need to read about whoever they want to talk about this week in a backup story.
Yeah.
So,
So that's just me. Like if I was reading Justice League back when they had like the Shazam backup story, like I wouldn't care. I would just skip it.
Hypocrite, you say so, don't read it, but like the point is that we're buying a book that's a certain length. Like All Star Western is like $4 when all the other books are $2.99. The $4 is because of the backup story. That's the point, is that you might only want to buy the Jonah Hex story. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that it is something that some people might like and some people might not like. I'm not getting all like, why are they making me pay this much? I'm just saying that that is something that can happen. You might want to buy a book just for one story, and then they end up throwing a bunch of other crap that you might not like,
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, the extra dollar, like, but if you actually read comics and you get like a decent amount, like I spent, I think, $32 this week in comics.
No, I know, but like that
And,
adds
like,
up. It all adds
Yeah,
up.
it adds up. That dollar, like when I'm looking at my comics, I'm like, oh, I would get that, but it's $4. You know what I mean? I could get that $3 book and not, and you know what I mean? When you're getting as many comics as like I do per week, it's it ends up like adding up. Like you end up kind of seeing like, hey, I could get this. I could get like $3-4 books, and then like if I did that, I would be able to get. If I just got $3 books, I would end up getting a fourth $3 book because I saved the extra $3 from buying those.
Yeah.
That's really jumbled, but you know what I mean.
It already seems like a lot. It already seems like a lot. Like I feel like if I brought someone into a comic store, they'd be like, wait, these are like $3, $4 for each issue, and I feel like that already seems like a bunch. But now it's like you have digital comics and they cost the same amount. I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, they should start out like, say the comic's $3, it should be like $150.
Yeah, I think that like
If at the most like $2, because
I
you're
think
not
that's
paying for the print.
I think that's totally a good price. Yeah, $150 because you're not getting an actual physical thing that you can hold and sell.
Yeah, you'll never be able to keep it and collect it
And I get why they do it. It's because it's just like with video games. They can't piss off the stores, the retailers. They can't piss off Best Buy, like the video games. Like they'll sell a game digitally for $60 because
well, sometimes a lot of games get sold for $50.
Well, I'm just saying that like when it comes like with consoles in particular, it's like you want to buy a game, and then you like digitally they would have charged less for it because there's no packaging involved, whatever. They could sell it for less, but they don't sell it for less because they don't want Best Buy to be upset that you can buy it somewhere else
Yeah.
for cheaper. You know, it's the same thing with comic book stores. They don't want the comic book stores to get upset.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But then again,
It's-
like you wait like a month and it's down to like $2 or $1 or something. So,
Mhm.
so like, to the topic of Nightwing versus Red Hood, do you guys think that would be a cool thing? Like, do you think it'd be a cool Injustice version of the Sub-Zero Scorpion? I don't know what to call it. Like
Rivalry.
Yeah, rivalry. Sorry, it came to my mind right.
That's a. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it could be, yeah, like you said, like it could be Green Lantern and Sinestro. It could be, you know, Superman and Lex. It could be, well, maybe not them, but
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it could be. I mean, it's not like you need that rivalry, but
no,
I could definitely.
I don't think anybody
understand
gets Mortal
why they-
Kombat. They're like, oh, I have to know what happens next in the Sub-Zero versus Guy, battle.
But I definitely think it's a cool comparison that hopefully they'll follow through on. Again, I don't particularly care for it, but I know that you would love it and like several other people would love it. I mean, a lot of people love Red Hood and a lot of people love Nightwing. So, and that's actually one of those things where I feel like it's a split. I feel like a lot of people would say they like Nightwing more, and a lot of people would say they like Red Hood more.
Yeah.
Just like how a lot of people are that way with Scorpion and Sub-Zero. You know.
Yeah.
By the way, people in the comments, tell me who you like more, Red Hood or Nightwing, and Scorpion or Sub-Zero.
Yeah. But other than that, guys, once we get some replies from you guys, I don't know. I kind of like this format where we just have, a select amount of topics. We have them all laid out. It's a lot less. I mean, obviously we went off topic a little bit, but we keep it to about an hour. It's pretty nice, I think. What do you guys think about that?
Injustice is the game that DC deserves, but not the one it needs. Says Red Light Door well.
Ray Eduardo, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Maurice Bowling says, I think in this world, Batman and Superman represent the Scorpion/Sub-Zero rivalry. Maybe. Charming Panda says he likes Nightwing more. Eisenhoff says Sub-Zero. Pop Tropical Bonanza says Nightwing and Scorpion. Jordan Osborne also says Nightwing and Scorpion. 2 Cents Nathan says Red Hood. Del Boy says, I'm not familiar with the rivalry. Could you guys get into it a little bit? Well, Jurgen, I think you know it best, right? The Sub-Zero Scorpion rivalry.
So basically, Sub-Zero is like a mercenary, I guess.
Which is like a common misconception, right? Like, people normally think Sub-Zero's the good one, and Scorpion's the dick.
Yeah, because he's like from hell or something.
It's like the complete opposite.
Well, like Scorpion used to be just like a normal guy, and Sub-Zero was hired to like take out the entire like Uchiha clan or whatever. And yeah, Sub-Zero is like the only one remaining.
Or,
I mean,
you
Scorpion. Yeah. So he like sold his soul to the devil or something, and yeah, he gets like these hellish powers so he can take revenge on Sub-Zero.
And there's the rivalry.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think the next character reveal will be? Just real quick.
Yes.
Yes. Huh. I think...
Like...
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Like, I don't know, unless... Yeah, I'm just, like, really reaching for the stars right here. Like, that one tweet Ed Boon made about Ashton Kutcher playing Steve Jobs. Like, unless the character had something to do with apples, or his name's Steve, or Ashton, whatever, which I'm almost certain, there's, like, 0 characters like that. Yeah. No one. Because, like, we can't really say for sure, like who we think will be the next character. You know what I mean?
Because it's so random. Like,
yeah, it's totally
it's
up
just,
to...
it's completely up to them. Like, if you're asking, like, which one would we like to see next, then that's cool. But you can't ask, like, I mean, you can ask it, but it's like there's no way we can answer it. Is what I mean.
I do think that this theory that Captain Cold will be the choice because December is.
That's what
I
I
think
would
it's.
think. Yeah. You know.
I think it's a pretty good theory because Ed Boon seems like the kind of guy that'd be like, it's a cold winter or whatever. He'll like tweet something like that, Um, just
Right.
it seems like something he'd easily tease and it would work perfectly. So I mean, the game's out in April, so they wouldn't have another opportunity like this to be like Captain Cold in the cold. I mean, January, I guess they could do January, but December makes more sense.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool idea. Pop Tropical Bonanza says some person in a forum had an idea as Zatanna for Holiday Magic.
Uh,
Not bad.
I guess it's kind of okay. I'm trying to think of another, like, I don't know, holiday-related person. I don't know.
is there?
Calendar Man. So, I guess here's Dark Surge question. What do you guys think will be the next character reveal? We'll just switch that to who would we like to be the next character reveal?
I would also like to point out, though, just before we get into this, that it won't be one character per month because we only have a couple months left, and we got more characters than months,
Yeah.
The
The game would have to have like 12 months before it comes out.
I wonder when they'll pick up steam. I wonder when they'll stop doing one per, because it seems like one per month, right? Isn't that what's
we
been?
got like Green Lantern and Joker and Green Arrow within like a couple of days. So I'm hoping we get another one of those soon.
The game comes out in April, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing with that though was that they needed to release the cover.
I know that, but I'm just saying like.
I'm just saying it's like an exception is all.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I can see Zatanna being released on is like Teller's birthday on February 14th. Of Penn and Teller, the magician.
Oh.
Wait, what about him?
Like Teller's birthday is February 14th. I'm sure
Yeah.
not a lot of people know them as much as
Penn and Teller? I know all about them, yeah.
yeah, but like now I'm pretty sure like a lot of people don't know about them that like play MK. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what
Well,
about them?
That's
Teller's
like,
birthday.
that they're
birthday is
magical
on-
or
I'm confused. What does this have to do with anything?
saying like
no,
if they
like-
were going to announce Zatanna, a cool day would be Penn and
Oh,
Teller's
well,
birthday.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's not their collective birthday. What do you mean by that? Like
no,
you're saying
I said
Tellers?
I just said Teller. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
who-
Well, I doubt that they care that much about Penn and Teller to be like,
I know.
oh, I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying, but like, I don't think that would actually happen.
Unless
personally.
let's see, Harry Houdini.
So, Froggy, what character do you want to see next?
I mean, honestly, Captain Cold would be great. I think not only does it make sense, it would also be awesome because I think seeing whatever his costume is gonna like. I'm
How about
really
this? Like
intrigued.
assuming he's going to be announced sometime in December.
Who else?
Who else? Yeah.
Well,
Because
then
I would want to say Captain Cold just because I think he will be.
I mean, I have to go with like we made that video. I mean, I have to go with Sinestro.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to go like take those three out, Lex Luthor, Sinestro, Captain Cold. I don't know. Throw somebody like crazy out there. Like I don't know. Well, maybe not crazy. I don't know if I was gonna say Booster Gold, but I think I'd rather say like Shazam. I would like to see Shazam.
Mm-hmm. Like we've talked so much about it. Like I'd just love to see what they can do with Batgirl. Like I think she would look awesome but then again, I thought Catwoman would look good, and she looks horrible to me.
Blue Beetle would be awesome. I mean, I want to see Aquaman, but I think Aquaman would be the best save to be like one of the last reveals because then
that would get
people
me really excited.
I think people would be like, I think by then they'd already be sold in the game, but then they would
Yeah.
see like, wow, Aquaman's badass, you know? I think that whatever video they make for him, it needs to be just as badass as like the Green Arrow, Deathstroke one, maybe even more, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I am really excited to see what they do with the Trident. Like, what the hell is Finisher's going to be?
Yeah, just quickly on that topic, a lot of people like since my Aquaman video have been saying like they want him to basically be like akimbo sword fishing and, you know, using like water bending and stuff. I was like, oh God,
Akimbo
no.
swordfishes.
Yeah, like they want him to use his fishy brethren. In my words.
Hmm.
Like,
I
what
don't
do
know
you
about
think about
that.
that? Like, I just hope not. Like, it'll just be like, it's just so not the right way to go with him for right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to do anything for him. Like, it's not
They're
going to make him
they'll be
respectable.
they'll be smart about it. They're not dumb over another realm. Like they know they have to make Aquaman awesome. They know they can't. I guarantee
I
that.
like. Do
Like
you want him to be able to waterbend though? Like,
no, not really. I mean, I don't even know why that'd be useful that much. I mean, I guess they can go for the whole like, oh, he dehydrates the enemy, but like that would be like just instant win. Like, you'd instantly be able to kill someone. Like there's what would he do with waterbending in the battle? Like I don't know.
he could be
It's
like
just kind
Rain
of
or something, which is a worthless character to me.
like I think that it should just be all about like I said, the trident, and you can include like I've said before, like I think for his finisher, if he like uses telepathy to contact Mira, I would actually like that. Some people said they don't like that, but I think it'd be cool if he like calls in a tidal wave from her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know.
That'd be like one of the most over the top things, like seeing, you know, like
Well,
the day after tomorrow, like tidal wave coming through the
mhm.
streets.
Well, and it can
That'd be
bring with
awesome.
it. It can bring with it like a fucking shark attack. You know, like
I'm useless, they said. I have
yeah.
stupid powers, they said.
And it gets a lot deeper than that. No pun intended.
Anyway, I guess with that, guys, we will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming out and, you know, enjoying the show. Um, you know, I think this is a good one. I think we had this new layout with like the whole, like, you know, we got a few topics, some cool topics we can talk about for a good amount of time. I don't know if you guys want to leave me your feedback in the comments. That's cool. Thank you all for watching again. If you guys want to plug yourselves, go ahead.
I'm Frog Lantern on Twitter and right here on YouTube. Again, that's Frog Lantern, all one word, obviously.
Yeah, and then go ahead, Doom guy thing.
Yes.
So there you go. At yes. And what's your YouTube?
Yes.
So at YouTube at yes, right?
At YouTube. At yes.
So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. And make sure to leave your feedback on this new style of the Injustice Gods Among Us live discussion. And we will see you guys next week for Injustice Gods Among Us live discussion number 10. That's pretty... wow. And anyway, guys, yeah, see you later.